Other interesting political news, you have a U.S. Democrat, Gerald, saying the Ukraine border is more important than ours, saying the quiet part out loud. Now, this comes to us thanks to Libs of TikTok, and this is Representative Gerald Connolly, and he said, this is a little clip here, but Libs of TikTok pulls out one of the first quotes, saying, quote, "Some say, well, we have to deal with our border first. The Ukrainian-Russia border is our border," unquote. Libs of TikTok continues saying, quote, "These people openly despise you." And this is Mr. Gerald Connolly. The only redeeming factor is that, granted, he has a modicum of fashion, and he does know all men should suit up, so he did one thing right. Granted, his mind is, what's a nice way of saying broken? Mentally vacuous? So I'll go ahead and see if we play this really quick here.
Some say, well, we have to deal with our border first. The Ukrainian-Russian border is our border. It's the border between depraved autocracy.
Now, spoiler, I did look at a globe, and believe it, and it's also not flat, but I looked at the globe. Fascinatingly enough, no, it's like thousands of miles away. It's not on our border at all. Fun fact. Now, granted, given the intellect of someone in D.C., perhaps he does not know basic geography. That might be a thing. But we'll see what else he has to say. Well, the buffer is not, well, let's see here. Well, come on now.
Depraved autocracy and freedom-loving people seeking our democratic way of life. Do we have a stake in that outcome? Yes. Undeniably yes. Will we rise to the occasion? Will we stand shoulder to shoulder with our Ukrainian brothers and sisters who for 1,151 days have been holding off the depraved, thuggish dictator Vladimir Putin, who has respected no norms of warfare? He's targeted children in hospitals and schools. He's bombed apartment blocks, killing thousands. For
a second, I thought he was talking about Obama, killing Americans without due process with drones. But no, he's actually talking about, no, he's claiming Russia is doing that. So he says that this is very important. Now, I actually, fascinatingly enough, granted my background is mostly business, I looked at the top exports from Ukraine. Yeah, the U.S. is not close to being the top 5 trading partners with them. The largest trading partner, interestingly enough, is China. And their exports are mostly agricultural, fertilizer, corn, which we got Iowa and Illinois. We don't need any corn. We got plenty. There's barely any trade between the United States and Ukraine. And it is fascinating. So, actually, let me know. I've been thinking about doing one of those instances where you go, I forget what you call it, the kind of working the streets, so to say, and interviewing people on the road. Would you find it fascinating if I were to go out there with just a map of Europe and go to the people who are waving the Ukraine flag, just be like, hey, can you point to me on the map, where is this country you love so much that you think, again, this is referencing, I believe, there's a $95 billion package that we're sending. Now, that does include other countries, it's not just Ukraine, it's also, I believe, it's Israel as well as Taiwan, which, from a business strategy perspective, those countries we do have much greater trade with, and we have much more sharing of intellectual property, both military and as well as cybersecurity, and as well as semiconductors, of course. So in those cases, I could see the rationale much more than specifically Ukraine. So again, this bill is reference to $95 billion, but it's for not just one singular. It's for a couple countries, some of which are actually strategic allies. Now, this went viral, getting 1.4 million views, 16,000 likes. Now, one of the first ones comes from Paul Zazupo saying, quote, "This video should really be going viral. Representative Connolly is saying clearly what the Democrats think. Ukraine's border is more important than America's. He says this, and yet Speaker Johnson continues to cave to Democrats like him. Disgraceful, getting 475 likes." Now, I might be a little bit biased, but I think this next comment is the most handsome of all. This one comes from The Topping Show, in which I say, "Seems like DC will help every part of the world before they'll help us." And this picture of, what is it? Ron Swanson from Parks and Recreation, just looking perplexed and disappointed. Now, granted, nobody liked that, interestingly enough, but 6 people did apparently view it. Scrolling down, you have more and more. You have Brad Miller saying, quote, they no longer work for us. And it's a picture of DC in creepy looking, some type of, what is it, the opposite, the negative view in terms of, well, not just negative, in terms of not positive outlook, but I mean like the negative view on a film. And it says the government doesn't represent you anymore, getting 309 likes. What is this? Culture War says, quote, meanwhile, back in our border, we have an African caravan of military-aged men scrolling in, fighting like a fighting battalion, getting 250 likes. And, yeah, well, we'll mute that. Yeah, they look pretty strong to me. Now, I got 250 likes. Common sense prevails, says, quote, go away. And it's a picture saying, warning, beware of members of Congress pretending to be Americans, and getting 235 likes. Red Wave Press also says, Democrats think that the Ukraine-Russia border is our border, but not our southern border. What a joke. Follow if you agree, getting 134 likes. Planet of Memes getting an F- for marketing because they responded in a text format, not in fact with a meme, saying, quote, this is what treason looks like, getting 150 likes. Salty Goat says, quote, this is their mindset. We are not at war with Russia, and they won't be happy until we are, getting 155 likes. So not too surprising to hear the quiet part said out loud, and it'll be interesting to see during this upcoming election, will the support of Ukraine specifically, will that be a big point of contention that will actually have people change their votes differently? Does the average American care that we're $34 trillion in debt and counting, every second of the day it's going up? Do you think that will ever come to be a concern for the average American? And do you think they'll ever start asking more and more of, hey, in terms of, resource allocation, setting money across the globe, why don't we fix some of the problems we have here? Let me know. As always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, we're trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you could click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment is a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.